it is, especially if you're somebody who I really trust, you know, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Okay. So, well, from a boundaries perspective, dude, and I love this topic because I am right now working on all of this and
Right.
on myself. For example, on Facebook, I went on Facebook and I said, a lot of these people, their comments irritate me. And then I was like, so why do I keep looking at them? And so I went on to Facebook, I think Monday, and I went through and I had like 700 friends on my personal, and then I have some other Facebook pages. But anyway, on my personal, I went through and I said, you know what? I pulled up everybody from A to Z, about 700. And I said, anybody on here that isn't somebody I genuinely care about, I'm deleting. And I only have 140 now or 150 people on my Facebook as of Monday. And the only people that are on there is so funny. When I post a post now, instead of hearing comments that I don't really want to hear, then they just irritate me. I'm thinking, wait, there's no boundaries there. I open the door for people to comment, and then I get mad about their comments, but I already know that same person is always going to say a comment that irritates me. So why do I keep letting them into my boundary? So I got rid of them. And it's funny. So now the few people that are on there, when they do comment, they're supportive. It's my sister. It's brothers in arms from almost, I would say 100 out of 150 are Marines. And so it's like, wait, these are people I care about. If they called me and said, I need help, I'd drop what I'm doing and drive to go help them. And I got rid of everybody else. So boundaries make a difference. And we've talked about this before. There's 4 questions that I ask everybody, right? And there's only 2 that make sense to this topic. And they're their top 2. You have to ask yourself before you do anything, or when you're getting burned out or getting stressed, who matters most and what matters most, period, in that order. And, when I was lifting last night, I'm thinking to myself, I got Pantera in the headphones. I'm lifting some weights, but I'm, doing my 2 minutes in between sets and I'm just pacing. And I started to think about some of the things that I've been worrying about recently. And I said to myself, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Is it worth spending any of my time that I have left on this earth worrying about any of these things that don't matter? And I said, Chris, what matters? And I said, let's think about it. And I said, Jesus matters first, then my family, and then my inner circle. Everything outside of that, if it's taking a priority over any one of those 3 things, it's becoming a distraction from what matters. And I started looking at my life, even just last night, and I'm looking at all these things that I'm doing and people I'm helping and places I'm going and churches I'm working with. And I'm like, bro, I feel like I'm doing that out of ego. I want to be able to say, look how busy I am. And at whose detriment? At my own mental health and at my family's detriment, because they don't get a father and a husband that's not irritable. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like I said, these are things I'm working through right now. And I was like, I need to get rid of all of the things that are keeping me from focusing on Jesus, my mental health, and my family and my inner circle. And if you didn't make that cut, like I said earlier, it's not my job to help you understand. I just need to move on.
Well, and you know what else is because just like you, I've recognized this kinds of cycle. It kind of comes in waves, right?
It does.
I will do the exact same thing. I will cut down my social media in particular because we leverage it a lot for what we do in our business lives, right? And then I'll load shed a bunch of people because I'm like, I need a break. I don't need all that extra energy, and then I got to go back and build it again because I get all fired
for business. I need my network to be big, and
Yeah, and then you reconnect. Did I let you go? Or did you let me go? We got to figure that out,
Right. Hey, by the way, you still made my cut, right? You saw my post the other day, right?
I registered that as you were talking. I'm like, I'm in there. But that's just because we're kindred spirits in this regard, right? And I think that, again, a lot of people like us we're this way, right? And it's not easy. I was talking to a gentleman earlier today, and we were talking about his role in community service, and he's talking about how hard a work it is. And I said, well, that's the thing, right? People always say they want to go out and do certain things, like be involved in the community, until you tell them how much work they got to do.
Right.